RTD Live Talk, Detroit's number one midday YouTube talk show. Excited to be back for a Wednesday. Let's talk. Let's talk it out. Let's talk about what's going on in these markets. Let's talk about what's going on in the political realm, you name it. I got a couple articles I want to share here, but I'm curious to hear what else is out there that's happening that I may not have come across. So, welcome to this live stream. My name is Mike, the host of the live stream. Excited to connect with you guys. And before I dive into these articles, let me take a minute to acknowledge you for taking time to join us and to share your 2 cents. And when the phone lines are open, 313-462-0027. We'd love to hear from you and find out what's going on in your world. Okay, let me dive right in. I got a couple things I want to share my 2 cents on some stuff, and then we'll move forward. We got Vu Tran Tam the, if I'm saying that correctly, says hello. We got Master Don in the building. My Hellboy says silver up today. Yeah, so silver and gold did a little bit of a little spike up once Jerome Powell was done speaking. And he basically, I'll jump right into it. He basically confirmed that in order for the Federal Reserve to be successful in achieving their mandates, that they ultimately have to destroy the currency. I mean, that's kind of what I took away from it. And I actually got the video here. Actually, I watched the post conference or whatever. And of course, he says the same thing over and over again. He tries to water things down. But yet I'm thinking, like, at this current moment, they're not changing anything. They're still going to let inflation overheat as they're trying to pursue their 2% plus. But what I took away from his speech was that they're going to continue to be accommodative, which we know they're going to have to do such. And I'm thinking, like, at this point, they're still calling government debt assets. And so they're talking about buying mortgage-backed securities and more treasuries. And I'm thinking, like, at what point does the idea of lending or giving funds to a government that's already basically insolvent in a sense, because they're not able to repay back any of those debt obligations? So at what point are they assets or liabilities? And I think Ray Dalio is doing a good job of sharing his 2 cents as to why ultimately cash is trash, as well as debt. Dollar-denominated debt instruments are basically going to destroy you. So with that type of talk, I think we're going to see more people deciding to dump the debt and get to something physical, especially when Ray Dalio says, basically just buy anything, start buying stuff. When he gets to that point where we start talking about buying stuff, things are getting bad. Anyway, enough of me ranting. Let's talk. We got Todd in the building. We got King D, Lawrence Franklin. We got Jemin John Yevo. It says, I scooped up 2 grams of rhodium with my Biden stimulus check. All right. Sounds good. Biden stimulus check. We got Kwame. So what, peeps? We got Crypto King Silver Slayer. Boom, boom. We have Hex Well Stake, 10 million worth of Hex for 10 years. Boom. Crypto King, you are excited about you some Hex, my man. Appreciate your enthusiasm. Appreciate you for joining the community. Okay. So I got a couple articles I want to share here, and then, of course, open up to whatever else is going on out there. And also, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this whole stimulus rollout, because as of now, there's talk about a 4th round already in the works, and it happens to do with AOC and Senator Omar leading the charge with their desire to try to get more funds into people's hands. And so I think it's going to be on a continuous basis if they have their way. And so let me dive into these first articles here, and then we can go have some back and forth. So I'll pull up this very first article here and let you guys see what I see, and we can go from there. Let me see here. All right, so first article here. I thought it was worthwhile. And so I'll actually, before I dive into the articles, let me do some house cleaning first to make sure everybody who's new to the community know what's going on and where they can find us at. And so, as always, go back to rethinkingthedollar.com is the blog where articles are posted throughout the day. You get a chance to stay up to date what's going on. And then tomorrow night at about 9:30, we're going to have our RTD off-air chat. And I want to make sure those that are interested via Patreon, become a member of the Patreon gang. You can join us and just have some fun off-air and talk it out a little bit. And then also, I want to make sure you guys are aware of where all these articles come from. They come from the Discord page, and that comes from you guys. You participating and sharing articles and videos and whatnot. I grab stuff from there, and we talk about it in the evenings. And so here, if you could click the social media tab beneath this video here, scroll down to Discord link, you click that, and then you'll have access to become a member there. And, of course, share your thoughts and whatnot. And then, we can go from there. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, so here's an article here, came out, and I think it's worthwhile because it talks about pretty much where we're at. The stimulus checks are just being rolled out. It looks like as of now, I saw an article here where Biden talks about 200 or so billion have already been released into the streets, and they're making their way to people's accounts. But I guess it's not good enough because a lot of the extremely left radical uh, liberals, for the most part, that believe that money grows on trees, or currency grows on trees, rather, that they want to make sure people are overly stimulated monthly. And so I'll save you time here, 2-minute read, but it says a fourth stimulus check might be on the way. So stay tuned. And of course, once this stuff comes about, what it's ultimately going to lead to is what it says here. In January press release, Omar stated, quote, a one-time payment of $2,000 is not simply enough. The American people are counting on us to deliver transformative change is what I guess we are counting on them to deliver to us. And we need to meet the moment by delivering monthly payments of $2,000. And so that letter was formulated in January at the beginning of the Biden administration. As of now, 50 Democratic members of the House of Representatives signed on to this letter to get to Biden's hands. And of course, he's going to comply and do what he's told to do. And so expect, end of summer, this type of stuff to pick up and people will get stimulated monthly. But what is that called? UBI. And along with that, the IRS has kicked back tax season once again. And so think about this. This is 2 years in a row as a result of major policies being rolled out, stimulus checks and stuff like that. So they pushed it back from April 15th to May 15th. So that gives people more time to get their dealings in order, but also gives them time because of all the tax credits and tax incentives and all that extra stuff thrown into there. It gives potential followers a chance to take advantage of those savings on not having to pay tax on, I think, on some of those funds they gave out. And then here's something from Mish Talk here. It says, Fed commits to a full range of tools, seeks inflation above 2% for some time. So ultimately, the Federal Reserve listened to Powell, nothing new coming out of his mouth whatsoever, other than just more optimism on this recovery coming back. But as I started off by saying, based upon their trajectory and where they're not looking to directly give a clear signal as to what they're going to do, they're talking about not changing anything for the next 2 years. And so based upon the fact that the true inflation rate is well beyond 2%, if you're a real human being out in the streets. But yeah, as of now, it hasn't met their standards, so they're not going to do anything about it. Therefore, they're going to continue to be accommodative to the system, which doesn't hit Main Street. And then also the fiscal side of things, government's going to continue to stimulate. So how does that not lead to higher prices towards everyday goods? Yeah, they don't seem to see it, but I'm not surprised. And then on top of that, if that's not enough, forget the Fed. Here comes another helicopter. And so we got the TGA, or the Treasury cash, which at this current moment is about 1.3. Let me see here, 1.379. That's where we're standing at right now of excess liquidity that Uncle Sam has taken on as emergency measures from, the past year under the Trump administration. And Janet Yellen has until August or so to try to drain that because it exceeds what Congress allows as the amount of reserves that the government should have access to, because they're a month by month or week by week borrowing type of entity. They don't like to actually have a savings account to meet the needs of the people. And so once again, there's going to be a flood, approximately, say about $1.1 trillion hitting the streets pretty soon. And it's definitely going to show up. But I imagine the Federal Reserve may not be able to find inflation still, but we'll see. And then here we have U.S. has issued 90 million stimulus checks. So apparently, I'm assuming either be direct deposit or actually, stimulus checks via mail are out in the streets. And so assuming today is Wednesday, which was supposed to be the day that the funds were, I guess, released from the banks. So let me know in the chat. I'm going to start a stimulus checks chronicles, where I want to talk about some of the craziest things you hear, you see, or you know of when it comes to all this excess currency people are receiving and what they're doing with it. So I want to hear from you guys in a moment. And then, of course, as a result of the Federal Reserve continuing on doing what they're doing, I bet you if Trump was in office, he would say, I bet your 401ks feel stronger today because the Dow rose 189 points because the Fed soothes investors. And so let me actually zoom in so you guys can see that. So once again, the prior administration, President Trump, was one of those guys that touted on the 401ks and whatnot, and, everybody's pockets feeling a little bit fatter. But yet, once again, they are diluting and destroying our purchasing power. So I'm not sure how that equates to true wealth. And even And the Twitter sphere earlier, Ray Dalio went on a little tweet storm. I think it was yesterday, but I caught a hold of today. And one of the main things I took away from his whole spiel on Twitter today was that people never consider the risk in relations to their currency. They always look at, the asset price, the nominal price of things going up, not realizing that on the other side of that, the currency is being destroyed. And so that was a good point that I think Ray Dalio made a point of mentioning. So, but anyway, I don't want to rant anymore. I want to talk to you guys. So let's talk. I got a couple articles I got up here, and I want to hear from you guys. And then also, let me actually make sure you guys are aware, because I actually had to take it back, because when everything initially jumped off, it was kind of relatively pricey. And so I didn't think it was something that would have been a good idea to suggest to people. But given the fact that prices have come down in silver terms, I want to make sure you guys are aware that there's a link beneath this video here for those that have interest in getting their weight up in the actual get your weight up coin. And so right now on the back end, I'm working on some promotional stuff to try to help people get their weight up so that they can be aware of what's going on. And when we got Ray Dalio saying go out and get stuff, that has a historical precedence to it, which happens to be, of course, gold and silver in my particular case here, of what I like to, encourage people to consider. But then also you got people in the other sphere that love to get their Satoshis up. So once again, I'll make sure you guys are aware these coins here are available. And so if you guys are interested, feel free to click the link beneath this video here, and you can get your weight up officially, because those are the one and only get your weight up coins. Okay, enough rant. Let's talk. Phone lines are open. Let me make sure everything is working on my end here. Give me a call. Let me know what's going on in your world. Let's talk about the stimulus checks, the fourth stimulus checks, which will turn into UBI. Let's talk about the crypto space. Whatever you guys want, I'm available. Let's talk and walk through these things, man. All right. Gene says 70 people watched. 100 people got about 91 people are watching so far. If you're enjoying the rant back and forth, or just hanging out in the community, in the chat room, click that thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel. Thumbs up can go a long way as far as helping the algorithms, so people can realize we're talking about some interesting stuff over here. We got there. Okay, so we got some here from Ralph. It says, receive stimulus this morning, putting it against a new deck. Exciting. Okay, so you are putting it to good use by adding some value to your crib. Understandable. Thanks for sharing that. We got it here. We got some waiting on some 100 ounces from Silver Shield. What all should you buy? What all should, okay, here's a question here. My Hellboy says, what we all should buy RTD coins with our stimulus? My Hellboy, definitely get weight, and that's the thing with the get your weight up coins and the Scary George coins. Those are just rare pieces that I try to put together to offer ways for people to support the channel as well as get something unique. And so the two coins that I offer, they're one of a kind to this channel here. So that in of itself makes them rare and unique, and definitely scarce, because outside of those strikes, they won't be done anymore. So it was fun putting it together. Mac here says Canadian has proposed UBI with Bill C-273. Is it official? So let's dive into this. I'm curious. Let's go. Let me check in here. Canada. Let me go to Canada and see this for myself. We got C. What was that again? Canada. What bill was that? Bill C-273. Let's see this for ourselves. Because once again, given this current environment we're in now, anything suggested or encouraged will definitely grab hold and become official. Canada's first basic income bill, C-273. Man, this is interesting. So it says on February 22nd, a member of parliament, Julie, introduced Bill C for our first ever bill towards a national guaranteed basic income. People, listen how crazy this is. Funds that come from the government under the disguise of income is not possible. Income, like when you look up the word income, it's usually associated with work or service provided and something received. And just let me make sure I'm not wrong, but last time I checked, the word income had something to do with labor, but they might have changed the definition. Let me check. Let me see here. They might have changed the definition. So let's pop this definition up here. It says income, a gain or recurrent benefit, usually measured in money that derives from capital or labor. Okay, so from labor. And so once again, when the government is talking about giving you something that doesn't include labor, and the capital might be considered future taxation that probably won't come to pass, that's not official income. So ultimately, we're talking about an allowance, universal basic allowance. And I mentioned this was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, saying that, given this turn of the decade, expect some type of allowance. And so not only is it official that the bill was put forth in Canada, and so here in the US, we got Omar and Cortez doing the same thing. And of course, 50 other people signed on to it. So it's going to gain traction. But yet we know it's a part of the agenda because they want to be the the parents of the American people directly. And so this doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But keep us in the loop as to how this goes. Keep us in the loop as to how this bill progresses, because I'm sure we're going to be able to learn a lot from this. And I wonder what that ideal amount of allowance that they would like to give. And I'm sure it's in there, but let us know. I'm curious to find out. Keep us up to date. It says here, let me see here. Throw out some questions. The phone lines are open. Give me a call. I want to hear from you guys. Let's talk. It's not a talk show unless you got somebody to talk to. So definitely reach out to me. Let me see here. I saw something about uranium. I'm thinking about silver. Okay, Roger says, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing about silver and uranium. Any recommendations for uranium? So me personally, in regards to just trying to still educate myself and speaking to the actual head of these mining and exploration companies, that's kind of where I see myself getting involved, because I definitely am going to get involved. And so I will be putting my money into exposure to some of that sector there, but it'll be minimal just because it's one of the things where it's share. So it's still, you have to trust that the team and everything else plays out to be exactly what you're hoping for. And that is kind of opposite of actually having something tangible and physical you can hold. So that will be my exposure to uranium. And so of course there's a lot of players out there, a lot of other channels that dive deeper into that. I just scan the surface based upon people who are recommended to me that are things worth talking to. So that's just my 2 cents there. But if anybody else out there in the uranium space, feel free to let us know. Michael says income is tied to slavery. Yeah, elaborate more on that, my friend. Just because think about the word income. Income definitely has taken on a whole new meaning since we went into a centrally controlled monetary system, i.e. the Federal Reserve, to where immediately following the Federal Reserve Act came the income tax itself. And so I remember reading a bunch of historical documentations from older literature talking about how a lot of Supreme Courts, there were lots of cases taken to the Supreme Court over the unconstitutionality of income tax, of which to this day they still stand. But it's one of the things where if you personally try to highlight or shine light on the idea of income tax is illegal, then you'll be considered an outcast, and therefore, you'll be penalized ultimately. But if we all band together and made our voices heard together, I think we would definitely get a different response. And to that same note there, the need now to utilize your free speech. And so right now, I was watching something about the current movement in the health sphere and how politics and health have merged together when it comes to the current 1.5 billion from the little shorts I did yesterday of basically a marketing campaign to incentivize people to want to put some technology in their body without much research or even effort or need to, no concern of wellness and health. It's automatically get this jab and you'll be good. If not, you won't be able to participate in this new economy that they're building. So yeah, right now, if you are not for all the stuff that's being thrown our way, you need to speak out, in my opinion. Use every platform you have, social media, you name it, to begin sharing your opinion, because as of now, we're going to be squeezed down to the point where you won't have any way to share your opinion. Because, one thing I can learn earlier from talking with Jose, and the fact that he mentioned how Hugo Chavez in 99, how he restructured the Constitution. And in doing such, they whenever they redo the Constitution or even question the Supreme Court or anything like that, they change things to make it beneficial for what they want to roll out next, which means they got to strip out everything that we used to know and enjoy as freedoms. And freedom of speech and the right to bear arms are our two greatest rights that we have that wasn't given to us by the government. It was given to us by God as just being citizens and stewards of this current domain that we have pretty much given it over to the government to make these decisions for us. So speak while you can, because you might lose your voice. Anyway, I can rant forever. Nelson G, appreciate the love offer. Says, Mike, your channel is a blessing. I thank you, my man. Appreciate you for your support. All right, we got our first call. Let's see what's going on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? All right, let me do me one favor. Let me check something on my back end because it might be on me. I caught myself trying to fix some things, but let me make some adjustments, and then we should be good to go. All right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Ed from Columbus. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Ed from Columbus. What's in your mind, my friend?
Hey, I just started watching General. It's just that guy from South America. I'm going to watch that a little bit, but I started thinking about something. With the the whole jab and everything. No matter what's going on, you can usually get somebody to falsify documents. And I'm thinking, if it comes down to, I'm never going to take a chip on my hand or my forehead like they talk about in Revelation.
Yeah.
But I know all these college kids, they get the best fake IDs and all that stuff. I'm thinking we need somebody up there to start cooking up some fake documents on I've been jabbed so I can get on a plane or go visit. Is that crazy thinking, man?
It is not crazy thinking, but the only thing about that is that they're aware of that. And what I mean by they're aware of that is that as of right now, as you see how rinky dinky this rollout is, because this is not like a 1 year, 2 year. This is my personal 5-10 year ordeal to take us into the Agenda 2030. So of course, up front, they give us these little white pieces of cards saying that I got this particular this or that. But as it goes on, Bill Gates have already set up all the digital ID and all that stuff using the blockchain is already set up. And so eventually 1 year, 2 year, that they'll let that slide. But then, of course, the government's going to crack down more and they're going to come with something. We need verifiable proof using a blockchain to show that your documentation is real. And that's where it's going to go. So it'll work in the short term, but in the long run, it's not going to happen, my man.
Yeah, I guess the technology overcomes that. But, man, I know some tricky people who can get about anything done. Probably come down to, some sort of facial recognition or, something so advanced that you can't fake. I remember the Tom Cruise movie where they were taking out people's eyeballs and, changing eyeballs to get off the get off the radar.
You talk about that. What movies was that? Where they had to swap up? What movie was that? I've seen the movies before.
It was the one where he was a cop and they were solving crimes before they happened. I forget the name of it. Priority. I forget, but it was Tom Cruise.
Okay.
It was pretty high tech, but basically he went black market and some dude changed out his eyeballs in his living room.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so here's another thing as well. I'm gonna put some on the screen here. And so there's some technology out there, which, once again, it's only if you go digging for it that you find stuff that really leads you to question what's going on. But if you look on the screen here, it says, what is Luciferus? If I'm saying that correctly. And here's a doctor here that does a great job. And she's all over the internet, Dr. Carrie Madej, if I'm saying that correctly. And she has several videos out there that talks about a lot of the technology that's going to be rolled out. And one of them is this program here where it's like it's a dye that's a part of one of the versions of the vaccine down the line that we might get that has something that shows up in your skin to where under a blue light or something, they'll be able to see if it's in your system or not, to where you won't be able to fudge anything or stuff like that. So this is the technology that she's highlighting here in this article. And then, of course, there's more stuff out there with how well thought out this is, because we're not here by mistake.
Yeah, I guess we're right with the Lord, that most of us are going to get out of here before, halfway through, pre-trib rapture. Everybody wants to believe that, man, it looks like we're getting close. So, I've lived a good life in America. It's been good to me. I'm pretty prosperous and, I'm prepped up and everything. But, I got children and grandchildren. I'm worried about what's going to be like for them. But,
right.
The Lord never listened to people to suffer. He took Noah out for the ark. He took, Solomon and them. So there's definitely some Christians that suffered down throughout the times. But,
right.
I think the Lord's going to take care of us. That's where our ultimate faith has to be and our strength. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we got to do everything we can to push this back.
Very true.
To stand for righteousness.
Right.
We got to stand for what's right.
Right. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in. And also, as I mentioned before, make sure you make your voice heard while you still have the privilege of speaking freely without being told you can't say that. So, and I think people should scream from the mountaintops, whatever it is they stand on and what they stand for, because right now is the best time when you still can. So, appreciate you calling, my friend.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you, Mike.
All right, be good.
Bye.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, man. Give me a call. Let's talk. I'm curious to hear what else is going on. And so, once again, this is what's going on. And so this information here is the stuff I grab from just trying to take in as much as I can and formulate my own opinions without having to, listen to the experts or people tell me to trust science. Because, I see what science is doing right now and I don't trust it. That's just me. But, you could be different. Anyway, give me a call, man. Let's talk some more. I want to hear what's going on. Let me see what's going on out here in the chat. And I'm curious to hear what else is going on. Your faith. So definitely. So, and that's another thing as a believer in Christ. Just to be realistic, man, like, we know that, persecution comes with this faith, especially in a world that is being controlled by the prince of darkness, the rulers of this world. And so once again, it's not going to be 100% comfortable, but, we are supposed to expect tribulation and tough times or whatnot, because that's a part of the believing in something as sound, according to our faith and as it is in Christ. So hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Rando Commando. I'm doing good, my man. What's on your mind?
Hey, not much. So I've been doing some research on this vaccine.
Okay.
I mean, not so much research as I do listening, because I'm more of a collector of information than anything else.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's regarding the mRNA vaccine.
Okay.
And I've heard of two side effects from it that kind of lead to a super infection, where it almost like lowers your natural immunity defenses and allows different strains of the virus to go undetected.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard of it. It's called antibody-dependent enhancement.
Okay.
One terminology, and the other is called viral immune escape. So there are two different mechanisms by which these vaccines generate just enough antibody that cover the surface of the virus, but don't neutralize it or eliminate it.
Yeah.
So and that kind of allows other new strains to come in as a Trojan horse of sorts.
Yeah. So
people keep talking about the third and fourth wave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I'm still waiting for the first wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it almost seems like these vaccines are going to kick off a third, in some places, maybe a fourth wave.
And at this current moment, I don't doubt it. And so I would imagine that the unknowns clearly outweigh the knowns. So we know right now that it's not something that, everyone has not been impacted heavily by whatever is, supposedly out there. And so instead of our government encouraging people to focus on their health and focus on ways of naturally and doing things to better our lives, they're talking about the only option is to go that route, which is a problem because once again, that 1.5 billion is put out there for the propaganda push. It's targeting primarily three people: the young, people of color and minorities, as well as those who are labeled as Trump supporters, i.e. conservatives. So that's about 100 or so million people, give or take, of which at what point do people say, you know what, I'm not going to participate, and those 100 people become the actual enemy that they target as the reason why this spread and this and that or whatever. So it's no way around all of this because those 100 million people will end up being the enemies at some point, if not already.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I've been telling people from the get-go is you have to take your stand every day.
Yeah.
You have to fight almost every one of these battles.
Yeah.
And as I walk around town, no mask, I get different responses from different businesses. Certain businesses, they don't even flinch. They don't even ask.
Yeah.
Other places ask, don't care. Other places, I'm telling you, the liquor store called the cops on me again last week.
Oh man, they're coming for you.
They're totally insane. They're totally insane, right?
Yeah. Hey.
And some other customer in the store wanted to fight me about it.
Yeah, I the other day was in a grocery store myself, and a guy and his son, a father and his son walked by, and I'm just minding my own business, no mask on, and he's like, "No mask, huh?" And I choose to ignore people just because I know some people are looking for a confrontation, whereas in me, I'm like, I'm just being normal, you know what I'm saying? So just because you choose to, comply and do everything you do, don't get mad at me for not really wanting to go above and beyond the way you are. So
libtard logic.
Libtard
In
logic.
order to exist in libtard logic world, they get to impose their will upon you to wear a mask. But if you breathe in their general direction, that's against the law.
Yeah.
So I actually had the clerk at the liquor store say that it's dangerous to breathe without a mask.
Ooh, really?
That's what she thinks.
Hey, Brando, man, I appreciate you calling, my man. Let me get this other call here. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Be good. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Chris from the UK, but I'm from Los Angeles.
Chris from the U. So you're currently in the UK?
Yeah, I live in the UK, but I'm from Los Angeles.
Okay, so I'll say Chris from the UK, formerly from LA. How you doing, man? Give me the rundown on what's happening in the UK, man.
I think it's about the same. I mean, everything is locked down. I don't know. I guess it's about the same as everywhere else. Everything is screwed up.
Yeah. Now, how is it being able to leave the country? Is it like, is the airports open, free travel still, or is this?
No, everything is totally empty. I mean, Gatwick, Heathrow, basically London's like a hub for travel for most of the world. So like if you go to other countries, you'll end up going to Heathrow in order to connect the flight. So the airports are totally closed. I'm hoping that everything opens up. They're talking about opening up, I guess, maybe in another couple of months or so. I'm hoping that I can actually get out of here and maybe go to Vegas, or I've had probably about 3 trips that I was supposed to go on, but I ended up having them canceled. I got enough vouchers for probably everybody.
Yeah. Now, so based upon the fact that the means of leaving is no longer available, so you're literally trapped on an island in a sense.
Yeah. So what happened is I actually got married, and I actually ended up moving out here, which I think was probably by the grace of God, because I laugh. I tell my wife, I'm almost like, you saved me, because I'm like, you gave me a way out.
Yeah.
And I got a ton of medals out here. I got vault in LA as far as full of medals. So I'm like, I got protection in 2 different places, so that actually makes me happy. I told her, I said, you saved me.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, keep us posted on what's happening in the UK, man. I definitely want to stay in tune with you and see and hear about that, because a lot of things happen first in the European UK area, then it makes its way over here. So it's always good to be, have a heads up, I think, man.
Yeah, if you want me to start calling in. I mean,
yeah. No. Make sure you don't join the Discord page if you're not already. Join the Discord page, and that's
I looked on the website. I didn't really figure out what the discussion part was. I signed up.
Yeah, so right, it says you get about 7 or 8 tabs. You go general or discussion or any topic you want to. Just jump in there and just start talking. And I'm there all the time, so I'll pick you up. And so yeah, just start talking, man, sharing whatever. And a lot of guys are good with reaching out and welcome you.
One more thing for you. I got one little thing. It'll take 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a friend that I know. His uncle died of a heart attack, but they labeled it as you know what.
Right. And
that sounds a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, was the family mad that they labeled him as, that, or
yeah, people are angry, but that's just pretty much what's happening. I have a friend that his niece works at this hospital in Houston. She works as a medical coder, and they told her to label everything as the disease.
Right.
And she said, I'm not doing unethical. And they said, if you don't, you lose your job.
Yeah. And that's
so,
that's happening everywhere.
I think it's only like 2%. So
yeah.
Why all this for 2%?
Hey, your guess is as good as mine. Or we all know their greater agenda, which happens to do with the World Economic Forum's desire to make sure we own nothing and we're happy with it somehow. So, but hey, man, Chris, I appreciate you calling, man.
Microchip, that's the goal.
Yeah, ultimately, and that's just one of the tools they're going to use to complete that.
I'm big on the Bible, so I understand what's going on.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you calling and checking in with us, man. Good to hear from your voice. Check us out in Discord, man, and definitely we'll continue on over there.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, be good. Yeah, man. Good stuff, man. All right, so I got to get ready to dial back. I got to get ready to make some moves on my end, but can't take any more calls. But for those that have something to share, this is a great time to go to the Discord page. Go to the general discussion and just keep it there. And I'll have my phone there, and I can definitely keep going there via the Discord. So once again, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the back and forth, and I'll see you tomorrow, Lord willing. And for those that are interested in joining us on the Off the Air, become a member of the Patreon gang. You can join us off air for a little unscripted. We usually go for about 2 hours over there, just having some fun, man. But anyway, be blessed, be safe. I will see you guys later. Peace.